welcome or welcome back to Dutch Martini. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're having an amazing day. Guys, you know how last week I told you, yeah, next week I'm going to come in with the plan and it's not going to be a short episode? I lied. I never lied to you. This time I apparently lied, but it was never intentional because, uh, guys, I just came back home from work. I need to leave in like an hour and a half to go to Eindhoven because I'm going to a concert. And I'm very excited, but I cannot leave without talking to you guys. So I'm chiming in here to just like chat with you for a little bit. And after that, I will go and shake ass in Eindhoven. Now, whose concert I'm going to, you may ask. You may not ask. I'm still going to tell you. I don't know why I always assume that you don't care. I like it would be nice to assume that like if you click play, maybe you care. So I should stop assuming that you don't give a shit about what is it that I have to say because if you didn't give a shit, you wouldn't listen to this. So, I am going to a concert of a Bulgarian artist. Yes, I'm going to a Bulgarian artist concert in the Netherlands and it's honestly unironically one of my favorite Bulgarian artists. For my Bulgarians, I'm seeing Kukisko and this artist is doing sort of his Eras tour type of thing because so he started off doing rap, then it transitioned to more pop ish, and then fully to Chauga. What is Chauga? How do I explain Chauga to non Bulgarians, to non Balkan people? Chauga is basically pop folk, but with a lot of oriental motives in the um, music, in the instrumental, and the beats. And there is a specific culture that surrounds Chauga, which is not necessarily the culture I would like Bulgaria to be known for, but this is basically what sells in the Balkans predominantly. It's one of the biggest genres. It's a genre shared in all of the Balkans, and there is a lot of artists that collaborate with each other from different countries. So, in a way, I don't want to be saying that Chauga is the thing that brings us together, but Chauga is definitely a part of the culture of the Balkans that cannot be ignored. And because people were not necessarily happy with him transitioning to Chauga, that's why he brought back the old Crisco. So he's going to be singing his old rap songs, and I'm very excited about that. And those are songs, mind you, I should not have listened to when they came out because I was a child and they're very like I have never heard other songs that are this vulgar, but like if it does the job, it does the job. So I'm very excited to see him. I'm very excited to reconnect with that artist's music because the last time I saw him was in my hometown's local club. Because back in the day when I used to go clubbing, we only had one club in my hometown, and I was 16, and now I'm 24. So I'm very excited. I It's going to feel so weird to be in a hall in the Netherlands full of Bulgarians because yes, we are that many that he could justify touring in the Netherlands. But basically, I find it interesting. So I don't necessarily participate in the Bulgarian community in the Netherlands or like the Bulgarian community and the Bulgarian committee that are part of my university or like on a local or regional level. I just don't necessarily integrate in the Bulgarian diaspora, and that was a very conscious choice. It's not that I want to like actively avoid Bulgarians, it's just like none of my friends here are Bulgarian. And I find it very interesting. And this goes not only for Bulgarians, but also for everyone when they go abroad and they stick to people from their own country, people from their own culture. Although, like, a lot of my friends are Romanian, so it's still pretty much like cultures compatibility is very, very high. Um, but I find it an interesting choice when people go abroad and only socialize with people from their own country and don't want to branch out and experience relationships and friendships with people from different countries, different cultures, and integrate and like learn something new from the things that they've always known. Because if you just take your culture and like live in that culture and don't experience other ones in a different country, I feel like you're missing out on a lot. You're missing out on learning a lot of new stuff, developing a lot, and just enriching your experience. Because if I only wanted to communicate with Bulgarians, I would have stayed in Bulgaria. And because I made the choice to leave the country and come here, I feel like it would be such a wasted opportunity to solely communicate with Bulgarians. And I feel like that kind of went to the other extreme, to the point that I don't have any Bulgarian friends here, which is not something I feel necessarily bad about. It's just something that happened. Everybody seems to know at least one Bulgarian, but me, I don't know any Bulgarians. Um, but yeah, so I am excited. I know that it's going to be quite like cognitive dissonance, like for me, because we will be speaking Bulgarian and we'll be in the Netherlands, which for me is quite uncommon. So I'm excited to see how that goes. I'm excited to experience that concert. Um, I'm hoping he brings this one rapper who is one of my favorite Bulgarian artists. Um, but yeah, I'm also excited because I'm going with one of my friends who I was from the first grade together with and who I've sat on the same desk with. And it's just very, very exciting to also get the chance to hang out with her because we don't really see each other often because we live in the two opposite sides of the country. So I'm very, very excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm really debating if I should bring my laptop with me now on the train because, I could be utilizing the train time to be working on something, to be revising my thesis, to be editing this episode. But at the same time, the locker situation is not necessarily accommodating because the venue in which the concert is going to take place has only small lockers and my laptop is not going to fit there. And the lockers at the Eindhoven train station, access to them costs 10 euros. 10 euros. That is outrageous. That is outrageous. So I also think maybe I should not bring my laptop, not only to save 10 euros, but also to just stop for a day and take a breath and actually go and enjoy my experience and to go to Eindhoven for the concert, not to go there studying and in the meantime experience a concert. I feel like I deserve to take some time off, she said, after having taken a few days off. But yeah, it's okay. I can work on my thesis tomorrow. I can edit the episode tomorrow. It is okay for me to take a breath. It's okay for me to take a rest. It's okay for me to not utilize every single free second I have to work or to study. It is okay for my free time to be free, and it's okay for me to just sit on the train and all I do while being there is to travel. That is totally okay, and I want to normalize this thing instead of having to squeeze every single last second I have in order to be productive. Sometimes I deserve to shut my brain off and just exist. And I deserve to not pollute my free time with work or university. I deserve to have time off. And I really hope I don't feel, you know what? I am not bringing my laptop. Let's test this theory. Let's test if I'll be able to actually rest and enjoy the time off if I don't have the tools to make that time off productive. Because I've told you before, I have a lot of problems with being unproductive. And yeah, so this is something that terrifies me. And I feel like this will be a nice challenge to just basically create distance between my time on and time off and actually enjoy my time off. I feel like that's going to be easier. Also, when the concert ends, I need to run so that I can catch my train. Then I feel like that's going to be much more easy and much more carefree if I don't carry my laptop with me, you know? And I know that I want to have, like, initially, I wanted to tomorrow to be a full day off, but it's okay for me to take today off. I don't know why I just always have like assigned Sunday to be the day off, and I'm not flexible with scheduling my days off. Like for me, Sunday has to be a day off, and I only started implementing this a few months ago, only this academic year, because up until now I had never taken days off. And I was burning out, which is what I wanted to prevent, which is why I designated Sunday to be my day off, or at least the Sunday afternoon onwards until the evening to be my time off. Um, and I feel like because I set this in stone in this academic year, I really struggled to be flexible with my schedule, and instead of taking Sunday off, to take Saturday off and Sunday be productive, because I also just want to rest. But yeah, I am very excited for the concert. I don't know what I'm wearing. I just honestly forgot the concert was happening, and then I was like, wait, let me check. And it was like in a few days. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes so much sense that it's, guys, my mind is just really not here. But anyways, now today, as you can see, I feel like in the last few episodes we always have a different background. And who would have thought that actually recording, so this is my, as you can probably tell, this is like the radiator. I'm sitting on the floor. This is where exactly Dirty Martini started. 2 years ago, I just sat on here on this floor, leaning against this very um, radiator, and I pressed record. And when I started video podcasting, I really wanted to make it a nice backdrop. And it never occurred to me to actually record against this background because it's not necessarily pretty, but also with the light, it looks quite good, right? So I think 2 year ago me was onto something without even realizing it. Um, but the reason I'm recording this here is not because I wanted to experiment and stuff. It is because I am undergoing some sort of reassembly of my room. And I don't mean the reassembly that I typically do at least once a month, of me just readjusting my furniture at 3 a.m. on like a weekday when I should be sleeping, and being like, you know what? I think this shelf that has been sitting here for 5 years because it's the most convenient place for it would look really good at the opposite end of the room where my bed is. So I need to readjust everything. So this is not the type of thing I'm undergoing right now. Yesterday, I got my wardrobe. If you have not watched last week's episode, basically, my clothing rack broke. Well, it didn't break, I broke it. Um, yes, I'm just that strong. And I got a secondhand wardrobe, and I got it delivered. And I feel like it would have been so amazing if I could pay the deliverers to get it up the stairs. But unfortunately, they were like, no, we only deliver to the ground floor. And the ground floor is not even my entrance, because you need to go up some Dutch stairs in order to get to my front entrance, in order to go up some stairs to get to my room. And the thing is, for those of you who have never been to the Netherlands, Dutch staircases, typical Dutch staircases, tend to be very steep. And I mean steep. And they tend to be very narrow. Like, I am not kidding you. My foot does not fit on a single stair. And if you're like, oh, that doesn't mean much, I wear kids' shoes. Yeah. And it's not me just now being like, oh, I'm so petite and tiny. It's just like those stairs are, you have to be on your tippy toes. And to be wearing furniture on that type of stairs is definitely an experience. And a lot of the staircases in old traditional houses like mine, the staircase is not only narrow and steep, it is also spiral, which makes it beautiful for bringing up already assembled furniture. And I know you may be thinking, why didn't you just reassemble the furniture? Because that type of furniture, the wardrobe that I bought could not be reassembled. It was one of those that was stapled instead of screwed on. So it had to be assembled. And that is why bringing up furniture in the upper levels of houses has become common with hooks. Like if you go to the Netherlands and you see a hook on the window of a house, it's not for people to hang themselves, or at least not only for that, I don't know. It's for people to be able to get their furniture up. Now, the thing is, my house doesn't have a hook. I could not disassemble the wardrobe. So my housemates and my friend, all four of us managed to get that wardrobe up. And when I tell you, we, if you have you seen Guys Friends? I assume most of you have seen Friends because this is the type of series that is so common, everyone has seen it. Do you remember this one episode when I believe it was Ross, Joey, Chandler are getting up? I think Rachel was also in the scene. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. They're getting up a chair up the like a very similar staircase to the one I'm describing right now, and you just hear Ross yelling, "Pivot, pivot, pivot." That was us yesterday. That was us yesterday. And I was so terrified that they hate me because honestly, if I were them, I would hate myself. And obviously, they did not want to accept money for helping me because they're just my friends. Um, so, Divas, thank you so incredibly much. Dinner on me next time. I'll cook you a really nice, hearty meal that you'll never forget. The same way you'll never forget the experience we had yesterday, because we were all pushing and it was just so crazy because like you get up a few stairs and like then your arms start cramping and you're like, oh, that's fun, but like I cannot rest my arm because if I rest my arm, this wardrobe is going to fall on my face and I'm going to fall down the stairs and I'm going to break my neck and die. So you're kind of, I'm so sorry, girls. I kept on apologizing and they were like, shut up. Because honestly, the last thing you need in moments like these is for someone to be like, do you hate me? Would you love me if I was a worm? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And at a certain point, I had to so I was from the bottom side of the wardrobe pushing up with my housemate and my friend, and my other housemate was on top. And I had to go and help my other housemate. This was top three scariest moments of my life because what we had to do is they had to hold Jesus Christ. Now thinking about what we did, I'm like, Jesus, like those drivers should have just like accepted the money and like got the wardrobe up, you know? Um but basically they had to hold the wardrobe as up as they could, as stable as they could, so that I could go under the wardrobe, mind you, as we're still on the stairs mid turn. And so for me to crawl under the wardrobe and up the stairs so that I can go from the other side and help my housemate who was on top of the staircase. And that was genuinely one of the scariest things I have undertaken, because I was like, if they drop it, I am done for. And was it worth it? Was it worth it? I mean, now having the wardrobe, initially I really hated it, but I feel like it's just every single time I add something new to my room, I'm like, oh, I hate it. Because it's just new and it's disturbing the fine harmony that I have established in my room. So initially I hated it, but now I'm actually loving it. But I did have to reassemble the entire room, and now nothing is the way it was because I had to make that wardrobe fit. And I hate the way the wardrobe looks, like it doesn't fit at all with the chaos that my room is. But I'm just going to do with my housemates a sip and paint, and we're just going to do a nice design on it, and it's going to look pretty. And I basically am coming in here to say to my housemates and my friend that I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. And I'm so incredibly thankful for you. And if it wasn't for you, I would have just been stuck with my clothing rack on which, if you put a single hanger, it tips over. So I'll never forget that. Thank you. Thank you. I know you will also never forget it. Please don't hate me. And thank you again. And then this got me thinking, I really love my friends. I really, really love my friends. I love loving my friends. And it's so weird to me, but like in a good way, that all of us come from different countries. And I mean, not just like neighboring countries, I mean, countries from all sides of the world. And some of us are younger, some of us are older than the others. And all of us somehow ended up in the same random city at the same random time. And we met and we befriended each other. And now we're just such integral parts of each other's day to day life. And now, when I'm saying random city, random time, I cannot help but think, is it really random? And I am not coming on here to impose on you a belief in God, a belief in karma, in universe, in faith, in coincidences, or a lack of such. That's not the case. It's just, to me, it's just so incredibly mind blowing. And I have been thinking about this whole thing for the past week and a half, because like I told you, my friend has been visiting me, well, was visiting me, and then my other friend from the other end of the country also joined. So I managed to hang out quite a bit with the very first friends I made here, and the people I felt closest to for so many years. And then we graduated and they moved back home, and we have been keeping in touch, and I still feel as close to them. It's just we don't see each other as much. And when you think about it, it's so mind boggling, but in the best way possible. Because there was a random girl in a random town in the US, and a random girl in a random town in Bulgaria, and a random girl in a random town in Romania, and all of them were born at a relatively similar time that would allow them to start the academic year at the same time. And they went to, despite all of those countries having different educational systems, and one finishing earlier and taking a gap year, and the other just like doing this and that, all of us, despite having such different backgrounds, were brought together by this power, this motivation, this drive, this desire, this wish, this curiosity to see what life is in a random country, which, by the way, for one of them is not even in her continent. in a random city at one of the universities, one of the many universities in that city. And we're in the same program. And in the first year, we did not choose our courses, we did not choose our time schedule. Everything was assigned for us. And all those three girls were assigned the same group. And at first, we didn't even talk to each other until the one situation with an ice cream. And since then, something just clicked and we became inseparable. And all of this seems to be too perfectly aligned for me to believe in coincidences. I don't know if I, in general, believe in coincidences, but I also don't know to what extent I believe in predetermined faith and a predetermined path and like a God's plan. I don't know. To me, this is such an interesting, but also a very murky subject because all of this seems to be too perfectly aligned for it to be a coincidence. I genuinely believe that there is some sort of a higher power, be it if you want to call it karma, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it universe, if you want to call it faith, if you want to call it time or whatever, that just worked its way and put so much effort to bring us together because we just like were each other's missing puzzle pieces and we fit in together so perfectly to the point that I cannot imagine my life without those people now. And that is just so crazy. And also, when you think about it, everything is connected and everyone is connected. And if I had not come here and done my first job and like then applied for the exchange I did and gone to that university and had to quit my job and then decide to come here and be rejected by over 150 jobs and only be accepted by this single one, and for me to meet my colleague who is one of my closest friends here now, if one thing had not happened, if one step from this entire process was missing, I don't think things would look the same. And because I firmly believe that we as people are the product of the things we experience and the people we encounter, the people we love, if one of those steps was not in place, I also wouldn't be the person I am. So it's just so, I feel like beyond human comprehension how we people meet and what effect we have on each other. And in terms of faith, I, because I'm a control freak, I would like to believe that there is some sort of agency that we have as people. And I'm not saying that I don't believe in this divine intervention and in faith. It's just this perception of things happening the way they are, for that to be, if you want it to perceive as like a written out step by step plan of how your life is going to play out by the God you believe in or like the power you believe in. I would like to believe that that's not the whole picture. I would like to believe that we as people have some sort of control and have some sort of agency. And I would like to believe that I have the control to go left even when faith or destiny or the plan is for me to go right. I would like to believe that, but then at the same time, I start overthinking it, overthinking my thoughts, and I'm like, well, what if the whole plan was for me to actually go left, thinking that my plan is to go right, and me wanting to rebel or do something out of my own free will, but that was actually the plan in itself. And am I just a puppet on a string? And do I have free will when we talk about destiny? Or is everything predetermined and I just have the illusion that I'm taking the choices I'm taking and making the decisions I'm making, doing the things I'm doing single handedly and out of my own desire? Or am I made to believe that? Because a perception of lack of control would be detrimental. And I find this so fascinating. And the thing is, no matter if I turn left or right, because the thing is, sometimes when you're on a crossroad, you're always like, should I turn left or should I turn right? Should I continue straight? Should I stay stagnant? Should I go back? And you're on this crossroad and you don't know how to act, you don't know which way to go, and you undertake some road, and things always seem to work out. And it doesn't matter if you took left or right, it doesn't matter if you stayed stagnant, went back, or went forward. Things always seem to work out. And what I mean by that is things may not always work out the way I want them to. I may not get where I want to go. But from what I've experienced so far in life, even when I don't get what I want, even when I don't do what I want, things always seem to work out the way they're supposed to, even if that is in opposition with the way I want them to plan out. So I guess it's about a trade off between what you want and what you deserve, and what should happen and what you want to happen. And even when things have not worked out in the way I wanted them to, I'm still happy with them turning out the way they had to work out. Um, Even if that meant me being redirected, me not achieving the thing I set out to achieve. Because in the process, I learn things and become a person that wouldn't have been able to materialize had things worked out the way I wanted them to. Because I feel like maybe there was a lesson that I had to learn. There was a challenge which I had to overcome. There was something I had to let go of. And if things had worked out the way I wanted them to, because this desire of what I want to work out, how I want things to work out, is a lot of the time based or starting from my comfort zone. And I feel like sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what is there for you to learn, and you don't know what's outside your comfort zone, because our human thinking, no matter how highly we think of ourselves, is quite limited. So maybe there are certain things that I had to learn that I just could not conceive of initially in framing my desires instead of framing what I deserve. And I am happy with the way things have planned out. Well, played out, actually, played out, even if that meant not getting what I want. Because in the process, I gained a lot of experience that would have otherwise been unattainable to me. And that experience has helped shape me into the person I am, into the empath I am, into the friend, the sister, the daughter, the person I am. And I am happy with my fulfillment of all of those roles. And I feel like had things worked out always the way I wanted them to, had I faced no challenges, had I never been redirected, I would have been lost because I wouldn't have known how to navigate change. I wouldn't have known how to cope with certain things. And I feel like, I don't know if this is faith, God, karma, universe, non coincidence, or whatever, but whatever it is, I feel like it is looking out for me to be able to learn as many things as I can to shape me into the best human I can be. Even if that best human I can be may not be the person I conceive myself to be. Because there are certain things, again, that I just cannot, I don't know what I don't know. So maybe with me saying this, I should then learn to trust timing. I I read this morning and it was very beautiful. So I think I thought I would share it with you. You seem to distrust the timing of the universe so much, despite that universe never having missed a sunrise. So maybe I should learn to trust timing. I should learn to trust life, trust the world to bring me to where I have to be, even if this have to does not perfectly aligned with the want to. Because at the end of the day, what weighs more, what you want, like what you desire, or what you deserve? And this is like a very wide conversation that I feel like I don't have the time to go into right now. Um, but things always seem to work out for the better, even if it is by going through the worst. And I always appear to be able to figure stuff out. So maybe I should trust myself more and I should trust the universe more, because if things have been working out until now, even or ex- exactly when I thought they wouldn't, why would they not work out the next time? And I feel like this concept can give me a lot of peace in this chaos that is about to onset, um, with me graduating and me experiencing my last month of being a student is something I really want to dedicate an entire episode to, because I'm really struggling with this. I'm really, really struggling. And maybe I just need to trust that everything will be fine, even if for me to get fine, I need to take a few steps back. It's it's okay, because I shouldn't distrust the things. I shouldn't doubt the universe, the God, the karma, the power, the faith that brought me here and made me into the person I am if I enjoy being that person so much. I shouldn't doubt it if it led me to the people it has led me to. I shouldn't doubt it if it has given me the life it has given me. And maybe I should be more faithful. And I don't mean in a religious sense. Like my relationship with religion is not something to discuss right now. Um, but yeah, maybe I can trust the universe more and trust those little coincidences to not be coincidental at all, but to actually be merited and predetermined to bring me to where I deserve to be. Because if I had gone where I wanted to, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Um, and where I am right now at this stage of my life is a phase which is underlined by a lot of content with who I am, emotionally and mentally, despite all the struggles or because of all the struggles that I'm experiencing right now. I just, I, there's not, I don't dislike my life and I don't dislike the person I am. And I don't know if things would have worked out in that way had I gotten what I wanted instead of what I got. Um, and the last thing I want to reflect on quickly before I go take a shower and go shake ass in Eindhoven. I did not expect today's episode to go this deep, by the way. I just wanted to tell you about my wardrobe. So speaking of my wardrobe, um, I really struggle with getting help from people. I am such a hyper independent person to a fault. My independence is something I love. It's something I don't want to trade for anything. It's something that my parents and my upbringing positioned as the epicenter of the person they wanted to raise, both for me and for my sister. They wanted to raise people who were self sustaining and self sufficient in terms of not having to rely on anyone in order to live your life. And I love this for me. I really, really love this. I love my independence. And I love just being able to say, I did this myself. But the thing is, I think when I moved here and had to only rely on myself, because initially I didn't have any friends. Even if I called my parents, they would listen to me cry or whatever. But at the end of the day, there was nothing they could do, and I didn't want to give up. So I feel like this context in which I was initially of having only myself to rely on until I had people to rely on really nurtured an unhealthy state of hyper independence. And I feel like this extremity to which it's taken is not healthy. And I noticed it yesterday with the wardrobe because I felt so incredibly guilty asking for help. And you better believe if I could, I would get that wardrobe up by myself, even if that meant it's taking me triple the time. But it was just too heavy for just one person. Um, I feel extremely bad getting help from others. And I feel like it is owed exactly to this hyper independence that I have been nurturing because of this state in which I once was of having only myself to rely on. It's kind of like I perceived it as you cannot rely on anyone. And that has really stopped me from letting people help me. And I don't think asking for help is a weakness, but I personally perceive myself as not necessarily weak if I ask for help, but I perceive myself as a burden. I have had problems with perceiving myself as a burden my entire life. And this is something I've been working on and I've been improving on, but it's a very long process and it's very difficult to unlearn past perceptions if they have been the ones underlining your entire existence. So the thing is, I was raised to be actions speak louder than words. And I feel like this is what nurtured one of my top love languages in terms of how I express love to be acts of service. I love helping my friends. I love helping my family. I love helping the people I love. This is, for me, a gesture is weighs more heavy than words. But when you add that dash of more than a dash of hyper independence, what it does is it kind of breaks your love languages in terms. So basically, I love doing stuff for others. I love loving through acts of service. But because of hyper independence, I hate receiving acts of service. I hate asking for help. I hate just because I always feel like I owe that person something. But I feel like yesterday, with me constantly being like, do you guys hate me? Do you hate me? Do you want to hit me? You can curse me out. Don't worry, I won't be mad. Um, that's really not okay. And I feel like with me doing this, what I actually end up doing is not only do I hurt myself in terms of perceiving myself as a burden and actually not getting help when I need it, but I can also really hurt the people I love because what if their love language is acts of service and I am preventing them from giving me the love that they want to give me, the care that they want to give me? Why do I always perceive it as me doing something for someone is okay, but them doing something for me is not? I really feel like this discrepancy is one I should work on and one I should solve because it's not helping me. It's not helping the people I love and the people who love me. Um, because I should just, I would assume that because if I want to do something for someone and I offer to do it, I want to do it. So why do I always perceive it as if them offering to do something for me is them not wanting to do it? It's my brain can be very poisonous. So I like, what in the double standards, bro? What in the double standards? And this is a double standard which would be best rectified. And it's not long term, it's not going to do me any justice. And it's actually going to hurt the people I love. And I don't want to hurt the people I love. And it is okay to be weak, it is okay to need help. And just for needing help, you're not a burden. And this is a concept on theory that I know, but in practice, it's very difficult for me to let go of it. And I really want to work on that because if this continues, I fear I may become socially incompatible with people in terms of these double standards. Like societies are built, communities are built so that they're dependent on each other in a way. Like you have some sort of reliance on other people. And while self-sufficiency and independence and self-sustainment are beautiful things and I love them, I love practicing them, I feel like my radical interpretation of them is just causing more harm. And it doesn't take away from my independence if I ask for help. Because, yes, I will not be able to be, oh my God, look at me, I did all of this by myself. First of all, no one's going to give you a medal if you do everything by yourself. No one is going to give you a medal if you do things the hard way. So, what you can do is make this a communal experience. And being a part of a community requires inconvenience. And what I mean by inconvenience in this regard is letting go of my toxic perception of what I think independence should look like. Because my housemates and my friend helping me to lift my wardrobe does not take away from my independence. And it's just an act of service which they wanted to do because they wanted to help me, because they respect me. And I should not take away their right to practice appreciation, respect, and love. The same way I would not appreciate it if they took away my ability to do something for them. So that is something for a future me to consider. That is something for a future me to work on. Well, current me to work on and future me to report for how it's going. But yeah, we're communal beings. And that means inconveniencing each other. And that inconvenience not being a burden. And that inconvenience not taking away from your um, being, your concept of self, your concept of identity. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to need help. And you're not a burden for letting the people who love you in whatever way they perceive love and practice love. Okay? Okay. With that being said, guys, I really need to get going. I want to thank you so much for watching today's episode, listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Bye.